everyone, it's Alice. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the issue question for the GRE. So as you may know, I got an 11.5 out of 12 possible points on the writing section of the GRE. I feel like I have some good advice for people who are going to take it in the future. Now, I'll kind of walk through the different things that I did to prepare myself in general, and in future videos, I'll be breaking down all of the tips that I say and actually looking at specific questions. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay tuned for all of those. Now, let's get into it. The first thing that I really did was understand what the question was looking at. It's a 30-minute question for this, and it's the counterpart to the analyze an argument question that I covered in my other video. Check out the card up there to see it if you haven't already. Now, the question in this part of the GRE is pretty similar to any other English test that you might have taken before, especially the SAT, any AP English tests, or pretty much any question that you've ever seen. Now, the only thing that you want to keep in mind is that you will have a dichotomous question. That means A or B. The example that I'll be using here in this video is hamburgers are delicious. Agree or disagree. You'll find that a lot of the example questions are the same way. There'll be a statement, agree or disagree. So A or B. Now, what you want to know is that there's no right answer to this. It's not about whether or not you like hamburgers. It's about why you chose that specific position. So you want to focus more on your reasoning and not the actual answer choice that you pick. To emphasize that, the purpose of this essay is to test how well you can communicate. It's not about what you think, it's about how you think. We've all seen people say extremely stupid things, and yet there are millions of people following them. So that is the kind of thing that the GRE is trying to test. Now, the reason I chose the hamburger here is because of the metaphor that I received in elementary school with the structure of an argument and also the structure of a paragraph. What you want to do is look at things from the broad perspective with the bun of the hamburger, and then all of your meat, your lettuce, your tomatoes, your ketchup. Those are where you want to get into the details. You want to draw on examples and justify your answer. Now remember, you have 30 minutes to write the whole thing, but what I did and what I would recommend for you is to spend the bulk of that time actually planning out what you're gonna say. You'll have a blank piece of paper that you can write on with your own pencils to just get all of your ideas down and make sure that when you actually start writing, you're expressing exactly what you want to say. The idea that I like is that the essay should write itself, and that doesn't mean that you don't have to think about it. It just means that all of your thinking goes into the preparation stage so that when it comes down to actually writing the essay, you've already got an outline of everything that you want to cover in it. So in that sense, what does my preparation look like, for example? If I'm looking at hamburgers, I want to first figure out why I like hamburgers. There are a lot of different possibilities. It could be the taste, it could be the look, it could be that I get to spend time with my friends, it could even be something like eating hamburgers makes me feel cool. Those are all possible reasons that I would like hamburgers. Now, the idea is that I would write all of these things down. After I've gotten my brain sort of cranking on that, I can more objectively see which of these options would be a lot better. In this case, I might say the taste of hamburgers and the fact that I get to spend a lot of time with my friends when I eat them, those would be my main reasons. Something that a lot of people miss is talking about possible criticisms to their position. In this case, people could say, well, hamburgers are bad because not everyone eats hamburgers. Lots of vegetarians don't like hamburgers, for example. So you want to be able to anticipate these opposing views and address them. Of course, you don't want those to be the focus of your essay, but you definitely want to say something like, well, hamburgers are not meant for the entire population. Or at least in this case, I'm talking about why I like hamburgers and not why everybody should like hamburgers. So there's a little bit of nuance there that you can point out, and that strengthens your logical argument. Now, when it comes to this, a lot of people will ask, well, should I focus on reasons or examples, or how many reasons should I have? How many examples should I have? This is really not that important. It really depends on the topic and what you can come up with during your planning. If you refer to the example papers, especially the 5 and 6 point papers that are on the GRE website, you'll see that they are totally different. You'll see ones that have a really lengthy intro, ones that basically don't introduce the topic at all. You'll see ones with a lot of examples. You'll see ones that focus only on reasons. The idea is that there's a variety of ways to get your message across, and you can think about that in the way that there are tons and tons of celebrities, and every single one of them is different, but they're all extremely effective at what they do. Exactly how you approach something really depends on how well you think, the topic itself, and some things like how nervous you're going to be on the day of the exam. Going back to the hamburger idea, though, a good rule of thumb is to have 3 paragraphs. So you can have an introduction paragraph, 2 paragraphs talking about reasons and examples about why you agree or disagree with the statement, a 3rd paragraph about possible refutes and the reasons that they're wrong, and then a really short conclusion that really ties everything together. So if you follow that general rule of thumb, it should be pretty easy for you. Now, of course, then you'll have the brainstorming and the actual writing to do, but if you think about your essay and addressing the questions in this way, you should be able to tackle them pretty easily. Now, just to sort of wrap up what I've said, definitely familiarize yourself with a few of the example prompts. Most of them have a statement and they ask you whether you agree or disagree. When you actually go to write it, spend at least half your time planning so you know the different reasons that you're going to use and the examples, and you'll also try to anticipate ways that people can refute what you say so you can say why that's wrong. And when it comes to actually writing, keep in mind that the rubric actually only contains a few things, including that your writing is complete, it's concise, it's clear, it follows the prompt, it fully develops your position. So again, don't use 50 different examples if they don't contribute something unique to what you're trying to argue. You want to make sure it's focused, it's organized, and again, all of these words are directly from the rubric, and I'll link all of those things in the description down below if you want to check. The only last thing I have for this video is in terms of errors, grammatical errors, errors in thinking, things like that. So you definitely want to cut down on those as much as possible. So depending on your personal preferences, you can adjust this a little bit, but I typically spend about 15 minutes planning, about 10 minutes actually writing, and then I actually spend about 5 minutes going back, reading, fixing my errors, and making sure I say exactly what I want to say, what I plan to say, so that the end result is exactly what I want it to be. In future videos, we'll talk about exactly how that plays out when you're faced with real, actual questions. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments, your questions in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!